Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 3 Legend of the Dragon King Part 48 based on novel. So let's start. Tang Wulin usually produced 4th grade 1000 refined items. When the occasional luck was with him, he would create 3rd grade metal, while when it was against him, he would forge 5th grade items. Although making 5th grade products were enough to complete the tasks, items of the 3rd grade and higher would receive additional payment. Tang Wulin was pleased to discover that after forging a 3rd and a 4th grade metal in the beginning, the rest were all 2nd grade. That was a lot of extra money. The fact that the quality of his products had improved signified that he had bettered his understanding of metal. Teacher Mu told me before that when I can forge 1st grade metals with a 30% success rate, I'll be ready to try spirit refining. He had originally thought that it would take 3 years before he could attempt it, but now it seemed that he would be able to try it sooner than he expected. If he could easily produce 2nd grade metals without trying his best, how far off could 1st grade be? What Tang Wulin wasn't aware of was that his harvest from his trip to Heaven Do City truly was astounding. Apart from the dragon scale fruit, his experiences and gains in the intermediate spirit ascension platform had broadened his view on soul beasts and soul skills. What was most significant of all, however, was the complete upgrade he had received from absorbing the 3-eyed demon ape spirit energy. As a spiritual attribute soul beast, the 3-eyed demon ape spirit energy was far more volatile than that of normal beasts. Combined with the excess spirit energy that surpassed his bodily limits, Tang Wulin had faced a tremendous amount of danger. If old Tang hadn't come to his rescue, his cultivation would have deviated, resulting in permanent injuries at the best and an agonizing death at the worst. Wu Zhangkong's guilt had stemmed from this grave possibility. But Tang Wulin had survived and made an extreme breakthrough. Although he hadn't benefited as much as breaking a Golden Dragon King seal, his gains were clear. His spirit soul had reached heights he never thought possible, and the mysterious heaven method had improved both his spiritual power and soul power. After refining these two energies, his fundamental strength had increased significantly. No matter which occupation a soul master has, these two energies were an essential part of their foundation. This was why Tang Wulin's improvement in this regard had aided his forging. Having finished earlier than he expected, Tang Wulin didn't immediately go turn in the tasks. Instead, he chose to cultivate the mysterious heaven method. His understanding of metals deepened over the next 3 days as he comprehended many things during this meditation. East Sea City's month-long calm came to an end with the new school semester starting and was once again bustling with noise and excitement. Students streamed into the academy, all of them brimming with positivity. This was their 2nd semester. After they finished it, they would advance to the next grade. Though they looked forward to moving up a grade, the dreaded grade promotion exams loomed over them. For those attending an intermediate Soul Master Academy, they absolutely had to have reached 2 rings by the time they graduated from their 6 years in the elementary division, otherwise they wouldn't be issued a graduation diploma. On the other hand, those in the advanced division needed to have 3 rings to properly graduate. Regardless of the academy, not every student could meet this requirement. Those in the upper grades would be extremely pressed for time. Students in the first 2 grades were still able to relax though. The urgency of advancing their cultivation was still at the back of their minds. Yun Xiao and Zhu Zhangxi were exploring the academy while chatting about various things. The two had become good friends after a semester together. Have you seen Wulin or anyone else from Class 0? Speaking of them, there's something really weird. I heard that Wang Jinxi and Zhong Yangzi transferred to another academy. Zhu Zhangxi smirked. They are probably too ashamed to be in the same class as those 3. Yun Xiao rolled his eyes. Do you think a genius who already has 2 rings in the 1st grade would feel ashamed? It's definitely something else. You know, I bet Wulin is feeling the pressure now. I heard Gu is already a Soul Grandmaster now and he's the only one in their class who still only has 1 ring. I wonder how much longer Class 0 will last. Zhu Zhangxi's eyes lit up. It would be good if the class shuts down, that way they would have to come back. We're Class 1 right now, but we both know how strong our class really is. What will we do for this semester's class promotion tournament? Won't we just get demoted at this rate? Yun Xiao shrugged. We'll just drop down to class 2, I guess. Zhu Xiangxi's twisted with displeasure. Don't you feel even a shred of team honor? Yun Xiao said, you need strength to win honor. Shouldn't you focus on cultivating instead of thinking about such useless things? The two continued to converse as they made their way to the dormitories. Suddenly, something caught Yun Xiao's eye. He nudged his friend and whispered, look, it's Gu. Zhu Xiangxi followed Yun Xiao's gaze and found an expressionless Gu that was wearing the academy uniform. She had a delicate appearance, but wasn't particularly pretty. At least, she was still far from Ouyang Zixin's level. Her unique temperament, however, had a dominating effect on others. Even Xie Xie found himself affected by her, only Tang Wulin seemed immune to her charms. Yun Xiao and Zhu Xiangxi were no exceptions. They felt suppressed the moment they saw her, as if they were a low-level soul beast seeing a powerful soul beast. Gu had grown taller and prettier over the last semester, which somehow condensed her domineering aura. Gu didn't notice the duo and continued to walk toward the academy's entrance. She really doesn't have any regard for others. Zhu Xiangxi waited for her to leave before he whispered to his friend. Yun Xiao snickered. What do you understand? I found out long ago that Gu is actually the strongest in Class 0. I don't think anyone below the 5th grade is her match. If Class 0 participates in the class promotion tournament. I can't even imagine how much she will shine. She's that strong? Even stronger than Xie Xie. Yun Xiao smirked. Should be. Outside of the teacher's building. Teacher Wu, please take care of this student. We've examined her and she definitely qualifies to enter Class 0. Long Hongshu solemnly told Wu Zhongkong. Wu Zhongkong shifted his eyes towards Long Hongshu before lowering his head to look at the timid girl before him. He coldly said, my class only accepts monsters, not ordinary people. Do you really think she qualifies? She only has 1 ring. Long Hongshu frowned. Speaking of which, Teacher Wu, I think your Class 0 could use some adjustment. There's no problem with Gu and Xie Xie, but why did Zhong Yangzi and Wang Jinxi leave? The academy principal explained what happened to me, but I don't think forcing a pair of Soul Grandmasters to leave for the sake of the 1 ring Tang Wulin is right. Also, why does Class 0 still need to exist? I found a genius for you, yet you're making all sorts of excuses. I'm going to ask the academy to close down Class 0 since you only have 3 students then. Wu Zhongkong gazed at him with icy eyes. You should say that to the principal instead of me. Students have their own choice, and I have my own choice. You Xu Xiaoyan, right? I'll give you a chance. You have 1 month to obtain mine and my students' approval. If you don't, then regardless of your background, I won't accept you as my student. Understood. Xu Xiaoyan listened with her head lowered, timidly nodding. She wanted to bury her little head into her chest right now. Follow me. I'll arrange your dorm assignment. Wu Zhongkong didn't bother to say goodbye to Long Hongshu, quickly turning around and leaving. Xu Xiaoyan hastened after Wu Zhongkong. Long Hongshu's gaze followed their departure as his lips quirked up at the edges. Not for a second did he think Wu Zhongkong's behavior to be unreasonable or irritable. That guy, he really cares about Class 0. He wouldn't submit otherwise. This is good. It's good that he cares since it'll motivate him to give his best effort. I'm looking forward to the results. He sat down and quickly dialed a number on his soul communicator. Hello, President. So, I have an idea. This past semester, we poured our resources into Class 0, yet ever since the 2 students left, the board of directors has been questioning your decision, correct? I believe it's time to display Class 0's strength while also determining whether to continue supporting this endeavor or not. What do you think? Long Hongshu listened to the other line and nodded. Right, that's exactly what I was thinking. We'll have them go. While I'm unsure of how it'll develop, They are still young, so it should be fine so long as they achieve decent results and garner some prestige for our academy. This way, everyone will note the superiority of our academy's teachers. Once they realize this, won't even more geniuses apply to our school? Yes, yes. I'll start making the arrangements. Sun with rays. As Xu Xiaoyan followed behind Wu Zhongkong, her sparkling eyes took in the unfamiliar surroundings. Her previous school had been an ordinary one, and since her family excessively doted on her, her life was devoid of any hardships. It was the mutation in her martial soul that led her onto this path. She had originally set on this path unwillingly, but after meeting Wu Zhongkong, her rejection rapidly diminished. Handsome. Teacher Wu is so cool and good-looking. Her heart hammered inside her chest. The next moment, however, she remembered her classmates whom she had investigated after meeting them once before when they had pummeled her brother. Big brother was careless, but they were still so strong. Brother couldn't even struggle against that girl who's only a bit older than me. Unfortunately for Xu Xiaoyu, he was unaware of Xu Xiaoyan's thoughts, or else he would have choked to death. "This is your dorm room," Wu Zhongkong said as he opened the door and entered. Xu Xiaoyan followed him inside, only to be shocked by the sight of the single bed. It seemed almost too good to be true. What kind of student dorm has such nice conditions? I was given special treatment before, but I still had a roommate. Remember, everything you receive is because you're currently in class 0, but you still have 1 month to prove yourself. Wu Zhongkong turned on his heel and exited the room. Left behind, Xu Xiaoyan eyed the room doubtfully, but a smile soon appeared on her charming face. It looks like I really need to do my best. I have a handsome teacher and strong classmates. Things are going to be fun. Huh? What's this? Why is there a hole in the wall? After she caught sight of the depression in the wall of her new room, Xu Xiaoyan got onto her stomach to peep through it and saw another room on the other side. Where does this lead? She mumbled to herself. She took a cloth and cautiously covered the hole, fearing any peeping toms on the other side. Bang bang bang. She gave a startled jump at the violent knocking and quickly went to open her door, thinking someone was outside. But when she stuck her head out, there was no one there. Instead, she saw a familiar figure rapping on the door of the room beside hers. He was a delicately handsome boy who carried himself with a slight aura of coldness. "Wulin, you back yet?" "Geez, he always appears and disappears in a flash." "It's him." Xu Xiaoyan could immediately identify the boy. "Isn't he the dagger-wielding boy?" "Hey, there's no one in there," Xu Xiaoyan said. "Who are you, and why are you here?" Enough time had passed since their last encounter that together with her weak presence, Xie didn't recognize Xu Xiaoyan. Xu Xiaoyan snorted. "Why can't I be here?" "You're in class 0, right?" Xie nodded. "I'm going to be a student in class 0 too. Remember this, my name is Xu Xiaoyan." Away from Wu Zhongkong, the timid girl from before transformed into a pretty, little tyrant. "I'm Xie. No different from any other boy, Xie was drawn to pretty girls." "Thank you, one?" Xu Xiaoyan stared blankly at him. With some annoyance, Xie said, "The second Xie is the one used to write chance encounter, too." "That's my name." "PFT," Xu Xiaoyan snickered. "Your name is really meaningful. Please take care of me in the future." Xie's curiosity was piqued. "How did you enter our class when it's already the second semester? I thought they weren't accepting new students anymore." Xu Xiaoyan stated matter-of-factly, "My family has some connections, got a problem." Xie was dumbfounded. Teacher Wu allowed someone to enter through connections? "I don't believe it." Xu Xiaoyan smiled sweetly. "It's fine if you don't believe me. Actually, we've met before in the Rebellion Spirit Ascension platform. Where is the big sister who beat my brother?" Xie carefully looked her up and down before he suddenly realized her identity. "Ah. You're that ice staff guy's little sister. No wonder I thought you looked familiar." "The ice staff guy? That's what you're calling my brother? Ha ha. That's hilarious. But wait, I have the same martial soul as him, what do I do? Xu Xiaoyon's expression became anxious. She couldn't bear to be called Ice Staff Girl. Don't worry, we won't call you that, Xie Xie said. How many rings do you have? 1 ring. Xu Xiaoyan said. Xie Xie became mute. How did she join our class with only 1 ring? That Ice Staff guy's strength was extraordinary, especially his 1,000-year soul skill, but he had 3 rings. Xu Xiaoyan was able to join us with only 1? Does she have some special skill or something? All right then, call me if you need anything. I'm going back to my room now. My room is across from Tang Wulin's. Oh right, your next-door neighbor is our captain and boss, Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin? Is that the big sister's name? Xu Xiaoyan curiously asked. Xie Xie burst into laughter. Of course not. Wulin is a guy. The big sister is on the other side. Her name is Gu. Astonishment flickered through Xu Xiaoyan's eyes. The battle between her brother and Gu had left a deep impression on her. With her own strength, Gu had been able to bridge the gap between ranks and defeat him, simply brilliant. Yet such a powerful girl wasn't the strongest person in Class 0. With only 3 students in Class 0, wouldn't the strongest be the captain? Tang Wulin also has 2 rings. Xu Xiaoyan asked. Xie Xie shook his head. No. He's the same as you, only 1 ring. Someone with 1 ring is the captain. Her curiosity toward Tang Wulin grew. She wanted to continue questioning Xie Xie, but he gave her a mysterious smile and refused to reveal any more. The morning of the next day, a ceremony was held to welcome the new semester. Class 0 stood at the very front of the first grade, 3 students neatly lined up in a row. Indeed, there were only 3 students, Tang Wulin was missing. Starting from the outside, Gu stood, followed by Xie Xie then Xu Xiaoyan. Meanwhile, Wu Zhongkong expressionlessly stood with the teachers, completely unconcerned about Tang Wulin's absence. Xie Xie whispered to Gu, Wulin couldn't have forgotten that the semester starts today, right? Why do you think he's so late? Gu indifferently replied, do you think he's you? Xie Xie was speechless. Just how biased can you be? When have I ever been late? Wasn't it him last time, too? Gu said, then he definitely has a good reason. As the academy president began his speech, a hunched-over figure snuck over from the back to the very front before nudging Gu's side. A radiant smile blossomed on Gu's indifferent face. Why are you so late? Tang Wulin had no excuse to give. The time he spent in deep meditation wasn't something he could control, so by the time he woke up, it was already the morning of the new semester ceremony. Because he had dashed out without eating breakfast, his gnawing hunger was forcibly shoved to the back of his mind. The deep meditation this time, however, had yielded great results. His individual comprehensions and abilities were now consolidated into a whole. Tang Wulin resolved to thoroughly investigate the results of the deep meditation later. For now, he was certain that his soul power had increased to a stable rank 16 on the verge of breaking through to rank 17. His growth rate wasn't particularly outstanding when compared to Wang Jinzi, Zhong Yangzi, or Xie Xie, but his progress came as a wonderful surprise considering that he wielded the blue-silver grass. I cultivated too much, Tang Wulin sheepishly said. Even as he said this, he felt a stare boring into him from the direction of the stage. Looking up, he met Long Hongshu's glare and hastily straightened his posture without another word. Xu Xiaoyan furtively glanced his way. So it's him. She encountered Tang Wulin twice before, the first time in the Spirit Ascension platform and the second at the barbecue skewers restaurant with Ouyang Zixin, and on both occasions, he had left a lasting impression on her. Of all the boys her age, Tang Wulin must be the most handsome one she had ever seen. Long, delicate eyelashes framed his large eyes, and paired with his rosy white skin were his straight nose, supple lips, and rounded earlobes. From beneath his beautiful exterior, he also radiated a warm energy like that of the sun. Clothed in the academy's uniform, Tang Wulin seemed even brighter, and despite his tardiness, he remained unruffled. This guy is so calm. Isn't he afraid of being criticized? Like everyone else, Wu Zhongkong's eyes were set on Tang Wulin, but for an entirely different reason. He could distinctly see a luster in the depths of Tang Wulin's eyes which signified a breakthrough, yet he noticed no major change in soul power. From experience, he knew this to be the best outcome. For soul masters, if it wasn't a breakthrough in soul power, then it had to be one in comprehension, which was absolutely vital in progressing further in cultivation. Although Tang Wulin's innate talents didn't amount to much, his extraordinary perception weighed far more heavily than even his mutated martial soul. The ceremony continued without another hitch, and after the customary motivational speeches, it soon came to a close. Teachers led their charges back to the classroom where they gave their own words of wisdom and encouragement before dismissing the students until the next day when classes would officially begin. Naturally, Class 0 had the simplest proceedings with only 4 students including the newly arrived Xu Xiaoyan. "Introduce yourself," Wu Zhongkong said to Xu Xiaoyan as soon as they entered their classroom. Facing Wu Zhongkong with her usual bashfulness, she stood and said, "Hello, everyone. I'm Xu Xiaoyan. I'm 10 years old and my martial soul is the Star Wheel Ice Staff. My soul power is at rank 17. The corner of Tang Wulin's mouth began to twitch when he heard her last sentence. Noticing Xu Xiaoyan the moment he arrived, he originally thought, she's a new student? A transfer student? He mistakenly assumed that with his recent progress, his soul power would at least outrank the new students. He didn't expect that instead, Xu Xiaoyan's soul power surpassed his. Wu Zhongkong nodded. "Over the next month, you need to prove your strength and adaptability with Class 0. At the end, I will decide whether or not you will stay." "Yes," Xu Xiaoyan cutely answered. Wu Zhongkong turned to the other 3. "You've had a month to rest, so I need to test your bodies again as well as run another combat test. You have half an hour to meditate and prepare." He turned back to Xu Xiaoyan. "Same for you." Considering Tang Wulin's recent near explosion from absorbing an excess of spirit energy, Wu Zhongkong was curious about the other children's progress. Only with accurate data could he properly plan out their curriculum. Since he knew that they wouldn't be so lucky every time, he wanted to avoid another similar problem cropping up in the future. In the results that followed, however, his usual calm bearing was breached. There weren't any major changes in their physical strengths. Only Tang Wulin's number observed a slight increase, but it was nothing of note except to Xu Xiaoyan, who was left stupefied. She wanted to turn to Xie Xie and ask, "Is this guy even human? Are you sure he isn't a soul beast?" Xu Xiaoyan's body strength was feeble to the point of being tragic, no different from an ordinary person's. What shocked Wu Zhongkong instead were the results of the spiritual power test. The first to take the test was Xie Xie. His spiritual power had surprisingly broken past 50 and was now at 59. Finally progressing from the spirit origin realm to the spirit connection realm, he could now upgrade his spirit soul to the 1000-year level. The second to go according to Wu Zhongkong's plan was the newcomer, Xu Xiaoyan. He believed that since the academy allowed such a physically weak girl to join Class 0, her special strength must lie in a combination of spiritual power and her ice attribute trait. Contrary to his expectations, however, Xu Xiaoyan's spiritual power was at 61 points, placing her in the spirit connection realm. Strangely enough, she only just barely eclipsed Xie Xie in this respect, yet it seemed to be her strongest point. Tang Wulin went next. His results left Wu Zhongkong and his classmates utterly flabbergasted. 212 points. Xie Xie read out the displayed number, incomprehension clear in his voice. "Teacher Wu, are you sure there's no problem with the machine?" Xie Xie blankly stared at Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin was also shocked. 212 points? My spiritual power went straight from the elementary level to the intermediate level of spirit connection? The threshold for the intermediate level was 150 points while the advanced level was 350 points. Once it reached 500 points, he would enter the Spirit Sea realm, marking a major breakthrough in his strength that would increase by leaps and bounds. Then he would join the vast number of powerful experts at the Spirit Sea realm. His mediocre spiritual power had surpassed Gu's first monstrous result now. A spiritual power of 212 points was enough to make the hearts of geniuses tremble. Xu Xiaoyan finally understood why Tang Wulin was the captain. Isn't this too monstrous? He's only 10 years old and has 212 points of spiritual power? Her bafflement deepened further when she considered spiritual power's trend of rapid growth until 20 years of age before its growth would slow to a crawl. Having over 200 points at 10 years old meant that even if he halted all cultivation, his spiritual power was still guaranteed to reach the Spirit Sea realm. He would then have the foundation of spiritual power to become a powerful figure. Heavens! Boss, what elixir did you drink this last month? How did your spiritual power increase by over 100? Xie stared at Tang Wulin, his expression disbelieving. Tang Wulin understood the reason behind his monstrous results since he had absorbed the spirit energy of the three-eyed demon ape. The ape's energy changed his spiritual power in a method that was wrought with danger, yet he succeeded and made a breakthrough in his spiritual power. Gu, your turn. Wu Zhangkong's momentary astonishment vanished, returning his expression to normal shortly after. Similar to Tang Wulin, he presumed the cause of the tremendous growth could only be attributed to the three-eyed demon ape. T-278? Once more, they were stunned, but this time by Gu's number. Gu clipped her chin towards Tang Wulin as if to say, I'm still better than you. A trace of a smile crept onto Wu Zhangkong's lips. These two brats are really starting to look like monsters. Xu Xiaoyan had thought 1 month was plenty of time to prove herself, but after seeing these numbers, she finally understood how large the gap between her and the other three. Xu Xiaoyan raised her hand. Teacher Wu, I'd like to test my spiritual power again at night. Wu Zhongkong turned to look at her. Does the night affect your spiritual power? Xu Xiaoyan nodded. This had been her greatest secret, but her competitive nature dragged it out of her. All right. The combat test will begin in a moment. You'll battle in pairs, Tang Wulin with Xu Xiaoyan, Xie with Gu. Wu Zhongkong instructed. Xie went silent. Gu frowned and said, Teacher Wu, that's not fair. We have 2 rings, while they only have 1 ring. We should pair a 1 ring with a 2 ring. How about I go with Wulin, and the agile Xie pairs with Xu Xiaoyan's Star Wheel Ice Staff? Xie's soul power is the highest after all. Her words nearly caused Xie to be in tears. Just how much do you loathe me? Notwithstanding the fact that my soul power is the highest, if you pair up with Tang Wulin, how is my group supposed to fight? In his eyes, Xu Xiaoyan was like a child brought from a previous marriage, void of any hope. Do as I said. Who said that a battle must be fair? Wu Zhongkong said indifferently. Sun with rays. Xu Xiaoyan stood next to Tang Wulin while Xie and Gu stood opposite of them. A mysterious calming aura exuded from Tang Wulin, giving her with a sense of security. Do you have the same aptitude as your brother? Tang Wulin asked Xu Xiaoyan. Xu Xiaoyan nodded. I'm a long-ranged elemental attacker like him. My first soul skill is the same as my brother, Ice Wheel, although my control is a bit better than his. Actually, I'm a lot more powerful at night. Tang Wulin smiled. It's a pity that it's still daytime. Well, whatever. Try to stay behind me, I'll protect you. Let's do our best together. His impression of Xu Xiaoyu wasn't anything good, especially after the incident with Ouyang Zixin, but he harbored no malice toward Xu Xiaoyan. In fact, he sympathized with her when Wu Zhongkong had said that she only had 1 month to prove herself. Her situation reminded him of the pressure he was under before his blue-silver grass had mutated. Xu Xiaoyan repeatedly nodded. Let's start then. Do your best. Wu Zhongkong said from a distance. Then Wulin, I won't be polite. Wah-ha! A strange laugh left Xie's mouth, and a moment later, he sped towards Tang Wulin like the wind. It was obvious that he had spent his 1-month vacation improving, not playing around as he had said. Gu raised her hand and shot fireballs at Tang Wulin while enveloping Xie in the wind element. She slowly advanced upon her opponents. She's firing from so far away. Would it reach us? They were still separated by 50 meters. From Tang Wulin's knowledge, there was no way the fireball could fly that far. However, Gu soon displayed the might of having 278 points of spiritual power. After flying 10 meters, the fireball suddenly split into 5 small collinear fireballs. Each consecutive one sped up and rammed into the one in front from behind until they compressed together into a far more powerful and swift fireball. It was smaller compared to the original fireball, and an orange hue surrounded it now. It shot towards Tang Wulin's stomach like an artillery shell. An ear-piercing blast tore through the air as heat mirages tailed the tangerine ball of flame. Xie nearly jumped in fright when the little flame whizzed past him. The fireball finally arrived in front of Tang Wulin. He had never looked down upon Gu's strength. Though he had never dueled her, he knew that she could easily restrain him, so he didn't use his heavy silver hammers. After his trip to Heaven Do City, he understood now that strength stemmed from oneself. Even battle armor merely enhanced one's own abilities. His eyes flashed violet as he abruptly stepped forward with his left foot, and his right fist exploded out in a magnificent straight. Golden scales appeared in a wave on his arm while blue-silver grass blossomed behind him like a peacock spreading its tail. Several strands wrapped around Xu Xiaoyuan's waist, connecting her to him, while the remaining strands weaved together to form a protective screen. Boom! His fist smashed into the fireball. A blazing explosion erupted, illuminating his sparkling golden scales. Under the tyrannical might of his fist, not a single spark landed on his body, and the remaining vestiges were promptly obstructed by his blue-silver grass. Xie sucked in a deep breath while he charged at Tang Wulin. When a brilliant purple soul ring arose from beneath Tang Wulin's feet, his expression froze in shock. Purple? That's a 1,000-year soul ring. Gold light slithered onto Tang Wulin's left arm. Now a full foot in length, it could coil 3 times around Tang Wulin's arm. Gold light emitted a golden brilliance that turned all of Tang Wulin's blue-silver grass gold. The grass's veins became distinct and the strands emitted a sapphire radiance. 1,000-year? When did he evolve his spirit soul again? And it's 1,000-year? Not only were the combatants flabbergasted, Long Hongshu, who had dropped by to observe, was beyond stupefied. Wu Zhongkong had told Long Hongshu to come watch this morning's battle in response to his doubts over Tang Wulin. The moment Long Hongshu arrived, he was greeted with a magnificent violet. It was in this split second that Long Hongshu realized that the Academy's investment into Class 0 was worth it. Despite Tang Wulin only having 1 ring right now, it was a purple ring. This was an even better surprise than him possessing 3 rings. It was guaranteed that Tang Wulin would have soul rings at the 1,000-year level and above. He couldn't be considered a genius anymore, he was a monster. No wonder Wu Zhongkong said Class 0 only accepts monsters and not ordinary people. That motto came from Shrek Academy and is their source of confidence and strength. The peacock tail-like of blue-silver grass went into a frenzy as Tang Wulin narrowed his eyes. Right this moment, he was filled with a new and weird sensation. He could sense the vitality of each strand of blue-silver grass he had released. They were all connected to his mind and he could exercise complete control over them. His blue-silver grass's thickness hadn't changed, but its very essence had undergone a qualitative change during his spirit soul's evolution. If they were said to be merely vines before, then now they were living snakes. Each strand was quick-witted, tenacious, strong, and in his control. This was his 1,000-year blue-silver grass. Xie was already within 10 meters of Tang Wulin, but he immediately backflipped and slashed out a light dragon blade at the sight of Tang Wulin's transformed blue-silver grass. He also summoned his shadow dragon dagger. The blue-silver grass knitted together in front of Tang Wulin to form a shield against the light dragon blade. Light burst out in the clash between the blue-silver grass and the light dragon blade. A moment later, the result proved unexpected. Not a single scratch was apparent on the shield of blue-silver grass. Sharing. Upon reaching the 1,000-year level, his blue-silver grass gained the ability to mitigate damage by spreading it equally between every strand. This sharing wasn't a soul skill, but an ability derived from Tang Wulin's spiritual power control. The number of strands he could spread the damage over was wholly dependent on the number of strands he could control in that split second. You want to run? The defensive formation of blue-silver grass instantly transformed into an array of spears chasing after Xie Xie. Tang Wulin activated his first soul skill, Bind. This was the 1,000-year soul skill, Bind. Strand after strand of a blue-silver grass weaved together to form a giant net in the air. Tang Wulin recalled the difficulty they had with battling the man-faced demon spider and its dangerous spider webs. With his bind now at the 1,000-year level, he could easily imitate that spider. Control subdued agility. This was a known fact in the Soul Master world. Before, Tang Wulin's ability to control was weak and was completely unable to restrain Xie Xie's agility. Now that his first soul skill had ascended to the 1,000-year level, however, everything changed. This video will end here.